Dear viewers, ladies and gentlemen, we apologize for these technical difficulties. I welcome you to the third session of the Afghan Association of Ontario program on increasing awareness of and fighting racism, discrimination, and Islamophobia. And I welcome our guest, Syed Musmer, who is a member of the Board of Directors of the Afghan Association of Ontario. He's also a business owner and he's a community activist. I will keep it at that. And Mr. Musmer, I welcome you and salam to you. Can you please, in 1 minute, describe to the viewers a little bit more about yourself?
Salam for you and salam for our audience. Thank you very much for the introduction. But yes, my name is Syed Maqsood Mosmer. In the community, it's called me Syed or Mr. Mosmer. And I'm a member of Afghan Association of Ontario. And currently, I'm a board of director, one of the board of director members. And also, as you mentioned, I do have a business for almost about 30 years. As a HVAC company, which is heating and conditioning ventilation system. My background is electrical engineer, living in Ontario, has been living for almost 33 years.
Well, thank you. Thank you very much. That's a good, concise bio, and I appreciate that. I would ask fellow viewers to share this live program on their social media. This issue of racism and discrimination and Islamophobia is like a triangle of evil that is really expressing itself in the form of hatred of strangers, of immigrants, of people who are different from those people who express that hatred. And we want to reduce it and eventually to eliminate it from the society. So this is an important issue, and I would appreciate the viewers if they can share this live session on their social media so that more and more people become aware of. Mr. Musmer, I would like to ask this question regarding your activities here in Canada in relation to discrimination, to racism, etc. In your stay in Canada, and you just said that you have been here for over 30 years, especially after you came here and you started work, did you face any kind of racism and discrimination? I know that Islamophobia did not. The term Islamophobia did not exist at that time. It came after September 11. What happened in September 11, the whole issue as part of the hatred, but specifically directed towards Muslim, it came after what happened on September 11. But before that, and then after September 11, did you face some kind of treatment because you were different?
Yes, before I would like to say about my personal experience, I would like to say a little bit about the Islamophobia and racism. And I believe it's been in the history of human being, and but elevated after the September 11, big time. But Islamophobia is basically racism, it's a hatred against the Muslim or Islam. So this has been elevated in the past 15, 20 years, but it has been around since the human being history is. To be honest with you, we all, human being has act based on what they learn, what they got. There is an expression that says, who you are, what you eat, who you are, what you meet, who you are. So our parents, our friends, relatives, teacher, book, what you see, what we read, what we hear, is all shape our personality. So therefore, it is kind of, it's a learning process. People become racist. It's not biologically, it is not in like instinctive of survivalness that you have to be racist. It is not part of your blood to be racist, but we all learn from, especially the media has a crucial role on this one. In the past 15, 20 years, if you watch the media, and that's why the topic is swollen and the topic is getting bigger and bigger, and it has a big influence to the public. That's why we see and hear lots of incidents. But to talk about my personal experience, no, I haven't seen anything that has directly affected me. But I have one experience which I'm going to share. Yes, as a business owner, I went to a customer house and tried to close the deal. We did close the deal, and he agreed to purchase. At the end, he asked me, "Where are you from?" I said, "I'm from Afghanistan." And then he said, "Are you Muslim?" I said, "Yes, I am Muslim." All of a sudden, he changed almost 180%, and he was about to cancel the deal. So, yes, I do have experience. Yeah.
Oh, that's very strange. Very strange.
Yes.
But I think perhaps it's natural. There's something nowadays very common. People talk about unconscious bias.
Absolutely, I agree with you.
We all have this unconscious bias, but when that bias goes to the extreme where it affects our relationship with people negatively, then that goes into the domain of hatred, of racism, of discrimination, and that's right. The problem. So after you started, you just talked about briefly, after you started your own business, how did it affect your dealings with other businesses? Did the fact that you are an immigrant, that you speak English with an accent, and that when people inquire and you tell them that you are from Afghanistan and you are of the Muslim faith, does that affect, the way they treat you, the way they deal with you?
No, technically, honestly, no. I haven't seen direct effect. Probably it's kind of invisible, but directly hasn't affected me negatively. I haven't seen it, but I'm dealing with a big corporation like Home Depot and selling product from China, one of the biggest, largest manufacturer in the United States. I would say worldwide, and I have attended to so many seminars and so many meetings and stuff like that. But I haven't seen anything which has directly affected my business or my personality or my personal life. But one thing I would say, Mr. Johnny, to you, because the racism stuff from your skin and culture and the way you dress and the way you talk and the way that's also, it will open the door somebody to attack you. Or somebody criticize you. That's also a little bit open the door for people who are in the position to use it. And yes. Fortunately, I haven't seen any.
Well, that's very good, and perhaps most people, at least from my experience and the research that I carried out when I was assigned to help the Afghan Association with this project, I find out that the Muslim male experiences Islamophobia less than the female, because of the way they dress isn't very much different than the others. But when the way people dress becomes different than the common person on the street, that is where people become aware, and then their shield of fear or xenophobia or defense kind of rise, and then all kinds of things could happen. So
the appearance also is an element to raise this kind of racism act. But on the other hand, I would say, as you mentioned, consciously and subconsciously, this is how the brain works. When we hear something, when we see something, when we read something, our cognitive brain, like it's how it registers the message or interpret it, it has a big impact from to the other party, what you see or what you think about the like there are some people which is I would call them ignorant, that this is because you are not like me, I don't like you, because you're not like me, I don't like you. This is ignorant. But as I said, it is all by learn. It's not biological. It's everything can be undo. This is me, this is you, this is part of societies. Every single person as a member of society should get participate on this kind of topic and on this kind of process to develop in root out the at least the systematic racism. Yes,
the misconceptions.
The misconception, put it this way, yeah, better.
Put it mildly. Now, you are also, in addition to being a business owner for a long time here in Ontario, you're also a community activist. You are a member of the board of directors of the Afghan Association of Ontario, which this program is an initiative
Absolutely.
of the Afghan Association. And in that capacity as a community activist, but also as a business owner, you are in contact with people from many different walks of life, from different, backgrounds, if I might say. Do you hear or do you experience that this issue of hatred, the issue of racism, independent of being a Muslim or non-Muslim, this issue of racism is a big thing, or is it diminishing, or is it increasing? And it doesn't matter whether it's against the Muslims or against the Hindus or against the Sikhs or against the Jewish people, anti-Semitism. They all are, within that confinement of hatred and racism. So tell me a little bit about what you hear, what you see, what your perceptions are.
Yes, it is a complicated issue. It's a very complex, and it is one of those things which has been around, as I said, throughout the life of human being history. But from my perception, from what I see, is slowly it will be disappear. It will be gone. The more people enlightened, the more people get educated. Education is a huge, it's a crucial role of the people's perception. And that will be dissipated. As I said, I would like to mention one thing, like probably 400 years ago, during the slavery time, when they brought people from Africa to North America or to Europe, and they tried to make a justification why they are different people, why they are treated differently. They brought it, it's biologically, they are different people, they are not the same as we are, that doesn't have the same value, whatever. Even they made it scientifically, try to justify what they did. But as you can see in the past couple hundred years, I'm not talking specifically during the past 15 years after the 9/11, but I'm talking about the past 100 years. It is getting, I would say, smaller and less effective, and it's getting, I would say, looks like it will be disappear eventually.
Well,
but need works.
That's good to hear. That's good to hear. So I will say that this whole curve is like, the stock market curve, which goes
up and down.
It goes up and down, but generally it goes up. I think this is also, it goes down, but sometimes it goes up and sometimes it goes up. And my research shows that since populist politics have come to North America, down south, and it's on its way here in Canada also, this populist political environment is very divisive, and one way that divisiveness manifests itself is by increasing that kind of racist attitude, and hopefully it will not lead into hatred and violence against the vulnerable people, minorities here. But it is on the rise. If we look at what happened in Quebec, at the masjid in Quebec, and what happened in London last year when that family was run over by a truck driver, and many other incidents that are reported. So I hope it is generally on the decrease, but at least in the last 4 years, the police show that there is a higher reporting of incidents of hatred. So I think this program by the Afghan Association is in a very good time.
It is,
first, to increase the awareness of this problem, to make people aware that this situation has to be controlled, because once it gets out of control, it could lead to very unwanted results.
Absolutely.
Which brings me to the next question, and that is, as a board member of the Afghan Association, does the association, in addition to this initiative, does it have any kind of plan to make not only the Afghan community and membership of the association aware of this problem, but also to educate the general public?
Yes. In fact, the Afghan Association is one of the oldest and organization of Afghan community, which established almost about 35 years ago before I came here. And still we get a lots of phone call, lots of people approaching by person, and we have a lots of cases, which is honestly, when you hear from them, you'll make us cry. Like people face lots of issues with this kind of stuff, racism. Yes, but we do have some initiative beside this program that we are launching right now. We would like to have some kind of workshop and put together and do some workshop and show them how to stand up to defend their right, and how to approach the organization which is dealing with the racism. And also we teach them how to deal with the people you're dealing with the racism act or racism or any violence or anything that is directly affect you, how to communicate them and how to deal with them. And we do have this kind of plan and process to create some workshop and bring people together, especially the newcomer, which they are very new in the country. We need to enlighten them, and we need to teach them. Yes, this is one of our.
That's interesting. That's very good. What I wanted to mention here is that last week I had an interview with 2 members of the Toronto Police Services who come from their community partnership and engagement unit, and they deal with the issue of hatred in the community. Especially they are the liaison officers with the minority communities of South Asia and the Muslim community and others. And they also had the same opinion like what you mentioned, that the best way to reduce the level of hatred and reduce the level of discrimination, racism, and Islamophobia is to educate the public. My research shows that the general public actually is not racist. The general public is very receptive, they are inclusive, they accept the diversity and the multiculturalism of Canada, and they have embraced it. And usually in every society, the hatred and fanaticism comes from a small minority. And, yeah, and when there is divisiveness in the community, in the society, that minority increases, and in two ways. One, the number of the people in that minority increase, and second, the level of their resentment and anger increases, and that's why it leads to more violence. So I think that in this respect, the community organizations, as well as the government authorities and the law enforcement authorities, have responsibilities in this regard to take certain actions so that that minority becomes less and less, rather than become bigger under certain conditions.
Absolutely, yes.
What do you recommend? Let's say the non-government organizations, especially those who deal with settlement and with immigration and with their organizations that are grounded in the newcomer community. Doesn't matter whether they are Muslims or non-Muslims, where they come from. They are coming to Canada and they are new immigrants here. So what do you think these organizations can do or should do in order to educate the general public as well, but also the newcomers are to be educated?
Yes, it works both ways. As I said, those people who are the minority which has this kind of racism kind of mind against Muslim, we have to build a bridge and relationship with them as well, and also people who are affected by them. So yes, every individual, especially every organization, I would say masjid and mosque is another good source, another good place to enlighten people to talk about this kind of subject in the Jummah prayer, and let people know how to stand up, how to deal with these kind of issues, how to talk with them, and where to reach for support and help. And this is a good place beside the Afghan Association of Ontario. So each individual organization should act responsible and actively for the awareness of the public, especially for the newcomer. Mm-hmm. So in my opinion, because I'm from our culture is kind of I would say shy people. They are not sharing their problem. They are hiding their problem. Doesn't matter. It's a personal problem. It's a family problem. If it's an immigration problem, this is a part of our culture. Is most people, they are trying to hide it. But I would suggest them. I will ask all these organizations to talk with these individuals, to not be shy, to share their problems, to share their issue, to share their experience with this kind of organization. This organization can reach out for another help and support for them. In this way, as you said, it's going to be disappeared, or at least we can. Yes, exactly.
Yeah, that's very good. Thank you very much. Thank you for your insights on this one. The other thing that I wanted also to mention is when I was discussing it with the law enforcement members last week, one of the things that we touched upon was that government policy is generally based on the statistics. When the statistics become available to the government, they use the statistics to craft policies for various things. And the more people report events of hatred, whether it's anti-Semitism, whether it's anti-Muslim, Islamophobia, whether it's racism, whether it's hatred, etc., the more statistics become available for the governments at all levels, whether it's at municipal level, at the provincial level, or at the federal level. when those statistics become available, then they craft policies to address them. And that's why I think, and you might agree with me, and perhaps you could also invite the community members, that if they face a situation of discrimination, of hatred, of Islamophobia, any kind of discrimination, that they report it to the organizations that they are affiliated with. And if it is leading to some kind of violence, so the advice of the police officers were that you collect as much documentation and information as it is safe and leave the rest to the law enforcement authorities to take care of. Don't try to become a hero by taking the thing in,
resolve it by yourself.
To resolve it by yourself. And that could be a dangerous situation. So I'm calling on you as a member of the board of directors of Afghan Association, and since Afghan Association collaborates with many different organizations, whether the board will take this initiative, to put this issue of hatred and discrimination and racism with the other organizations and to coordinate their activities so that they can have a coordinated action of both awareness and education. What do you think?
Yes, I 100% agree with you. Statistic is in Canada in the most advanced in several countries. They use it as a big tools to budget the program, to implement the program, to fulfill the program. Yes, it is a big tools. That's why we should, as an organization, Afghan Association of Organization, Women Organization, or any other masjid, or there are so many other organizations, we have to collect as much as possible the real story, and we have to report it safely and to the organization. This way, even they budget the resource for us, how to implement it for the awareness and educate people. Yes, statistic is very important. We have to collect it, and the way to collect it, we have to create a program, and we have to invite people and then make some gathering, and people, they can put their history, the story, what they faced, and they can email us, or they can send us a mail, or any way of media they can reach out to us. Then we can report it to the appropriate organization.
Well, thank you very much.
You're very welcome.
At the end, what I would like to do is to acknowledge the initiative of the Afghan Association to increase awareness of and confront racism, discrimination, and Islamophobia is in collaboration with the Government of Canada, and the Government of Canada is partially funding this program. So this is an acknowledgement that I want to share, both visually and also through my confirmation. And we appreciate that the Government of Canada has become aware of this issue. And as far as I understand, they have assigned a special representative to deal with Islamophobia and issues that are related to it. And our time is up. We have already exceeded our time, but I think people will excuse us because we had some technical difficulties in the beginning, so we lost a few minutes, and I think we have recovered from that.
And thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, thank you for your time, and we will end it. And I thank you for the audience who participated with us. They did not really have any kind of comments, so I hope that next time they will be more engaged in this program, ask questions from our guests who have experience in this area, and they are community activists or community members who want to share their experience. Next program that we have is our guest will be Brother Taha Ghayur. He works as Executive Director of Sound Vision. He is a community activist, and he will be our guest on Thursday next week at 7 p.m. So I appreciate your time, and until next week, I hope you will enjoy this program. Please share it on your social media pages, as well as let your friends to know about it. As you see, there were some critical points that were mentioned by our guest, Mr. Musmer, about what can be done, what should be done, and what you can do, and how to report if you experience it. So,
yeah, they can directly reach me out by email, by my phone. I'm, as I said, a member of Board of Director of Afghan Association of Ontario. We can do some help, what we can, and we will do.
And also for members of the Afghan community, if you have experienced any kind of discrimination, racism, Islamophobia, and hatred, and would like to share your experience with the rest of the community, please get in touch with me. You can approach me either through the page of the Afghan Association of Ontario or through my own page, Ahmad Shah Duranai, and then we can arrange an interview with you. So thank you very much. And we are going offline now. So
thank you.
Thank you and good.